The following episode of the Maui Chamber of Commerce's Business Matters was originally broadcast on September 23rd, 2025.
Welcome to Business Matters, brought to you by the Maui Chamber of Commerce. Now here's your host, the president of the Maui Chamber of Commerce, Pam Tupop. Good morning, Pam.
Hey, good morning, Gary. I wanted to say, hope you're having a great morning, but I know as we were just chatting just before the show, you've had quite a deal.
Yes, an interesting.
At your house.
Yes, I got woken up at 3:30 yesterday morning when a Hummer plowed into the side of our house.
I mean, I got to tell you, I'm just mortified, but I will say that when I was 18 years old working for an insurance company, one of our clients also, it was up country, and they were coming down Baldwin Avenue and were drunk and drove right over somebody's lawn and into their bedroom over the couple who were sleeping in their bed.
Wow.
And it was a miracle that the couple wasn't actually injured. Terrible damage to the house, but the couple lived and didn't have an injury on them. Yeah,
luckily it was into the living room, but Doreen fell asleep. My wife fell asleep on the couch that night because we went out that night, and she was watching. And there on the wall, we had a shelf of all of our crap and like appliances, toaster ovens and that kind of stuff. But an air fryer flew over her head and hit her in the foot. So now, So now her foot is swollen, but with all the adrenaline and stuff, like she didn't feel it right away.
Yeah.
And it was like a few hours later, it's like, oh, my foot hurts.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. That is just crazy.
Yeah, but thank God it didn't, it flew over her. And there was our air conditioning unit that was in the wall, was in the back of her right behind the couch.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Thank God.
Yes.
Well, still, so for people listening,
don't drink and drive.
Please don't drink and drive. Please call somebody. Get an Uber. Our Uber services are getting better. Call somebody to come pick you up because, again, it can mean a life, and nobody wants that. And it would ruin everybody's life. The family's life. And your family's life. So please don't drink and drive. There's so many other options. And I'm so sorry that happened to you. So also we need some help with vinyl fencing. Because
yes.
You said they totally damaged your vinyl fence.
Right. But I told my wife, you think on the bright side, we get a new couch out of the deal. Because it ripped up our couch.
May I just say that I always love your spirit. Always finding the bright side.
Yes,
cherish you. And I love Doreen. So I'm so sorry that happened to you.
Yes, thank you.
And I'm grateful that I'm sorry she was injured, but I'm grateful that it could have been so much worse. So I'm grateful that everybody was okay. And I'm hoping the driver was okay. Was the driver okay?
Yeah, everybody was okay. Nobody was injured.
Okay. Well, Doreen was injured, but
yeah.
No. Okay. Well, good. Yeah. Well, thank you for being here this morning with all that going on. I know it happened yesterday, but that's a lot to be dealing with, and so thank you so much for being here, and we cherish having you produce this show for us. We just think the world of you and appreciate all you do for us and our community. You're welcome. Well, for all of our listeners, we're so glad to have you joining us for Business Matters this morning. It's going to be a fun day. We are going to be talking with Toni Marie Davis of A3H and learn all about A3H and a little bit about Toni's background because she's been doing this for a long time. And then we're going to speak to Ted Anderson he's a physical therapist and orthopedic clinical specialist, and the owner of Venture Capital Physical Therapy. And we're going to talk a little bit more about what's coming up at his location coming up on Wednesday afternoon and the work that he does in the community and his newest offerings in that realm of physical therapy. So it's going to be a great morning this morning. And he can talk also a little bit about how he is helping to improve work. He's helping to improve workers' on-site health and helping to address things quickly so that they don't escalate. So it's going to be a fun morning, and we're going to learn a lot. But we're so happy to have Toni Marie Davis of A3H on this morning. Good morning, Toni. How are you?
Oh, good morning, Pam. Feeling a little guilty not being at the HTA convention, but conference, yeah. But doing great. It's early, and
yep.
I've already had a meeting under my belt. So,
yeah,
sorry?
you were rearranging meetings to be on this show, so we so appreciate that.
Yeah. I have programmers that work kind of all over the world, and so we have our meetings twice a week in the morning at 7 on Tuesdays and Thursdays. So, but yeah, it's all good. All good. I'm happy to be here. Thank you for the opportunity. And Gary, so sorry. Just
I know.
So thankful.
Isn't that
Praise
crazy?
God that no one was hurt. That is really the most important. Yeah.
Yes, thank God.
And good on you. Yeah, I often get told I'm a Pollyanna person, but I am the same. I always look for the bright side, and it's not that I do it in a denial sort of way or anything. It's just, why not? If you can, look for the better way to look at it and go forward.
Exactly, yeah. What good is it going to do to dwell on it?
I'm not a victim person at all. I don't have a lot of sympathy for those people. But anyway, bring them along.
Yeah. So, no, just amazing, and we'll have to try and get you some help on the vinyl fence to stop it from happening. My old house was on a T, and my dad built it, and it had a bunch of major telephone poles and then fencing in between. And I said, why did you put these big, ugly major telephone poles? And he said, because on the T, we had a drunk driver who came in, and they stopped like 2 feet short of our house. They ran into the yard from the T and just ramped up over the yard, but they stopped 2 feet short. And he said, that's never happening again. So it's a thing. Again, it's a thing. So people, please don't drive drunk because
maybe one of those beautiful rock walls that have been put up a lot here in Maui. That would maybe stop the Hummer. I don't know.
At least maybe keep it away from the house.
Yeah,
even if it went through. No, that's crazy. And when I get back from the conference, we'll talk all about what some of the key things. There's so many sessions going on here today, but you can't attend them all. But there's so many people from Maui here. That's great. We're kind of dividing and conquering. So I'm sure
I went last year.
It's good. But we are so glad to have you on today. Toni, tell everybody a little bit about your background and how you started A3H. What brought you to move into creating that organization?
Well, I came to Maui quite a bit in college. I actually came to Hawaii when I graduated high school. I always have loved and had a affinity towards Hawaii. I remember in the second grade, I did this. You know how you do the little Christmas pageants, and everybody in our class got a state, and my state was Hawaii. And so I researched Hawaii, and I did a little play on Hawaii. It was really great. But from the second grade, I've been called, and it was my dream when I graduated high school, came here, and then in college, my boyfriend, his father lived in Kihei, and so we had flight opportunities where we just could pay the taxes and fly. And so we came to Maui like almost every break. I loved Maui, fell in love with this place in college. I graduated with a degree in physics, which is, a pretty technical thing. Worked for Motorola for a little while as a process engineer, liaison marketing research.
Wow.
Because most geeky people don't like people and talk, but I'm a very good, intermediary kind of person. So anyway, I came here. I took an indefinite leave from Motorola, had some personal issues happen with the family. With my brother died, and I needed to get away. And Maui always called to me as a healing place. So I came here, indefinite leave of absence from Motorola, and I never went back. And I taught high school for a little bit at Baldwin High School, and also at St. Anthony's for a little bit. And then worked for a charter boat business that's here, Maui Classic Charters, and started to think about how could I use my technical background, because I did a lot of programming, software programming in college, and I ended up writing a little program to manage ticketing for Maui Classic Charters in a Mac background. Anyway, come forward, we were members of a small association that was just on Maui called AOA, and I always felt like AOA could do so much more. Why doesn't it do more? Because the activities and attractions, unfortunately, they're almost like a forgotten group that's in the tourism industry. When people think of the tourism industry, they think of hotel, rental cars, and airlines. Those are the three big ones. And the activities and attractions, which are all the fun things to do here in the state, kind of go to the wayside. And the coolest thing about this group is they're people who live here. They're people who, like me, had a calling to come and either live here or they were born and raised here, and they know this place inside out. And they have that in, it's even if they're not Hawaiian ancestry, they're Hawaiian inside. And I just love the whole George Kanahele kind of Hawaiian culture. I went through the Naha classes, and I love tourism. It just needs to be managed. It is the most lucrative economy that we could have here that can, as opposed to manufacturing, right? It has less of an impact here as long as we manage it and we host the people. I know there are people in council that hate that word host. They relate it to a what's it called? It's too early for me, but something that latches onto you and lives off of you. You become the host. A parasite, right? Yeah, anyway, and that's not what I mean by host. I mean by graciously welcoming these people here and taking care of them, not taking their money and letting them loose, right? That's what we have done. Our tourism problems are not because of the people that come here. We shouldn't qualify them. Our tourism problems are because of us and how we have hosted them. So we really need to adjust that. And I've been really frustrated with government since the time of the fires. So got a degree in physics, moved here. Then I went to UH and got a degree in MBA, so a whole business background. And AOA, I ended up going and working and running AOA and turning it into a statewide organization called A3H, which is the Activities and Attractions Association of Hawaii. Having run a charter boat and having been a part owner of Pride of Maui, which runs out of Malaya, and now they're the second boat. The original Pride of Maui is in Honolulu. Anyway, I just have a deep passion for this group of people because I was one of them. And they are ignored and they're not appreciated. And they actually hold a lot of the keys to properly hosting these guests when they come. The culture that's here is such a gift that we owe it to this place, if we're allowed to live here, to adhere to that culture and honor it and treat the people that come here to a glimpse at what that is, so that when they leave this place, they have that seed of aloha spirit in them and they take it back to wherever they came from. And a lot of businesses do this already. I mean, I'm singing to the choir, as they say, in a lot of ways, but we need to get back to that. We need to get back to that energy. And I've been really frustrated since the fires when the government closed everything down, that we just haven't come back. And I don't, it's not the numbers. Like I said, it's really about managing it. But people aren't coming here. I mean, the Canadians aren't coming because of our president. There are people. Maui's specific major market is return. Right? People have been coming to Maui for years. They're multi-generational people, and they love this place, and they don't want, they're actually looking for other places to go because they don't necessarily feel like they're welcome. They just feel like things have changed. And we need to remind them that no, we are still here. We love that visitor. That visitor looks at this place like it's theirs. And they take care of this place too. And it's because of that way that we graciously hosted them when they came the first time, or their grandparents came the first time. Yeah. But I've been frustrated because it's, the hotels, the airlines, and the rental cars, and they're all very, very expensive. Their prices have all gone up. And a trip to Maui for vacation is very, very expensive. And when your trip is expensive, you don't spend money on the in-destination experiences, retail. Right? You don't have enough money for that.
Right. Yeah.
So I have been in the last year and a half working on renovating HawaiiFund.org. And we launched it on the 9th of September, so it's out to the public. And we are promoting a Shaka Gold Card, which is a discount program that we've had since the early 2001, 2002 is when it first launched. And it launched just on Maui. And it's $30, covers up to 4 people, and gives you a whole range from 10 to 25% off activities. And the $30 goes right back into our nonprofit. We're a 501c6, so we're able to lobby, but all the monies that we make, at least 90% of it, has to go back into the programs that we are doing. And right. So it'll all go right back into marketing the in-destination experiences and letting the people know. We have, a plethora of information on those returnees, their contact information. So we're reaching out to them in a gentle way, not in a spammy way, to come back and make sure that they do the experiences that they wanted to do. And hopefully I've been able to condense those experiences to come on to the Shaka Gold Card. So we make a really big impact. The official launch of the website is in October, where we've got a full-page ad in Hawaii Magazine and a social media blitz and an email blitz going.
Love that.
I shy away from email blitz, but yeah, because email should never be a blitz.
No, I hear you. But, even for us at the Made in Maui County Festival, we have people who would prefer email because, that's where they're getting their announcements. That's where they are seeing their things and reading their daily mail. And so we have a lot of people now, which is kind of funny. And they're talking about this at the conference. A gal from Aspen was saying, we've surveyed people in our community too, and the community and a lot of our guests prefer email. We're getting into so many different, TikTok and all these social media avenues and trying to hit them here and there. And some of them just prefer the email announcements. So it's interesting because, if it's a constant blast, no, they're not interested in that. But some great news and things, yeah, it's interesting. I think that's awesome. And I'll bet you have a hell of a list.
Yeah, I'm getting there. I am getting there. It's taking, this kind of thing takes time. I find that I'm an old school kind of gal, right? So I call people on the phone and I am meeting with my members, one-on-one, and reminding them of why we exist. Because the A3H does 3 things. We do the collective marketing, but we also lobby for consumer protection as it relates to the sale of activities, making sure that the activities that are being done are, environmentally conscious. They're provide a good service and good value, and they host in the way that in a good way with these guests. And then we look for scales of economy for the members, for how we might be able to save them money on things that they all purchase. And we go to the table with those parties and see if we can't get some kind of discount for our clients. Because as we all know, if we run a business, it's gotten more and more expensive. So any way that we can cut those costs, we do that.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. And there's going to be so many. I mean, the tariff issue continues, and everybody is really struggling on supply chain challenges with tariffs and how the supply chain's working. And we're really worried about it also on the building side because so many of our, so much came in from Canada, and of course there's with disasters all across the nation. Bringing in materials to Hawaii is going to be more of a challenge when they're also needed, across the nation. And people who supply us don't have to wait for the shipment to be arrived, in Hawaii to get their payments. And so it's a lot of challenges still facing us in that arena. I'm just so thrilled to talk about this new program. So tell us a little bit about what people, when they go to hawaiifund.org, what are they going to see on this new website that you're launching?
Well, one of the things that as I'm speaking with my members, I'm telling them hawaiifund.org is now Switzerland to reservation systems. What happened is early on, A3H, because of my techie side that I just can't shut down, I wrote a real-time reservation software called PonoRes, and it was made for the suppliers by the suppliers. And because of the way that A3H is and our board, PonoRes could never really thrive under A3H because it couldn't address everybody. And by everybody, I mean the local concierge and the desks and helping them. So PonoRes has now been brought separate, but Hawaii Fund was harnessed to PonoRes. So if you weren't using PonoRes, you weren't represented real-time booking on hawaiifund.org. So PonoRes has now been brought separate, and it's owned by Kula Software Systems. And Hawaii Fund now will work with whatever software you use. We actually, if they're booking real time, it's just a URL link. So it's just the address that you would put in a browser. You put that in a backend. There's a supplier login backend, and you put in a URL for your regular priced products, and then you put in a URL if you're participating with the Shaka Gold Card, and you tell us what the discount is. We don't have any active pricing on the website because that's a lot of maintenance to keep up with because people's prices change all the time.
Changing. Yeah.
Right. And we want it to be helpful to our clients, and the only way it's helpful is if it will book directly to them real time. So we have worked with Fair Harbor and PonoRes. Both Fair Harbor and PonoRes have connected and put links up on this site, and we will work with any software program. I mean, we just pretty much any software will be able to do this, make a hosted page on their site that provides the discounted rate. But the Shaka Gold Card is purchased, and there's a unique 5-digit number. And you validate that. You log into hawaiifund.org. There's a Shaka Gold Card login in the upper right-hand corner. You click on that. You put in your Shaka Gold Card number and your last name. You get validated, and then the page then allows you to book at Shaka Gold Card rates. A button that's been hidden is now revealed and allows you to go through the site and book that way. But there's great filters on the site. You can go by island, by activity, and look at the savings, regardless of being logged in or not logged in. And at least with the PonoRes booking forms, if you go to book with those, you can actually add Shaka Gold Cards to that as well if you want to buy for someone else and add a Shaka Gold Card, which is often with big parties. We find that, like with wedding parties, if people are going together, they'll share information and say, go to this URL and go ahead and book. But it's again, we haven't launched this marketing yet, but the new site went up on the 9th. And I almost don't even want to say it because I don't want to,
I know.
Our sales have gone up tremendously. Let's just put it that way. Our sales have gone up as much as our visitors on the island are down.
Well, this is so funny because we had a great presentation by a woman in Aspen, Colorado, and talked about doing things in a very different way. And you're going to love this because it's all about resident sentiments that help move all of this forward. But she said these changes, sometimes these little tweaks, even though the numbers are down, the sales are up because, we've connected with people in a different way. And so this is so exciting that you're doing this, that you're, you've created this broader way for everybody to get involved and to meet to bring in the concierge and others who didn't have the same connection. That's fantastic.
Right. Well, we need to not buy into the things that divide us.
That's right.
We need to look for ways that bring us together because that's where the synergy lives. That's where we make big progress. And that's where it feels good too. If we include everybody in the things that we're doing, and we are authentic and real about the situation, and we can't go wrong. I just don't know how we could go wrong. And I our board, we were just tired of not having something done. So it was after 6 months after the fires, we said, we just got to do something. And I said, let's revamp this site. Let's go do this. And fortunately, A3H is in a financial situation where we're healthy. We're very healthy. So
you can make a good, solid investment and keep it. Yeah. I'm so excited. It's such exciting news. And again, so many of the activities were so hurt, and so many of our members, have said, "Oh, this is just such a difficult time." So to see this,
well, there's small businesses. These aren't like big, the hotels, the rental cars, and the airlines are global, international businesses for the most part. I mean, they're global businesses, right? Yeah, and none of these are. Right? There's like a small, like I could count on one hand, businesses that branch beyond Hawaii. The rest of them are a lot of, mom and pop and, maybe up to 20 or 30 employees, but the majority are down around the teens, if not below that. And they love this place. They care for this place, and they're doing what they love. I mean, if they're scuba diving, they are so respectful and take care and take trash out when they go in, and they are, things off the reef. They'll take trash off the reef when they're out diving, and it's
absolutely And they teach people respect for the ocean and respect for the island.
Do.
And they're very engaged in protecting our environment. I know so many of your activities. Even when somebody is not on their, on their activity or their tour or what have you, if they see somebody doing the wrong thing, they go talk to them and they educate them. They're great stewards of our environment and of our community and culture.
Yes. Yeah. And the other part of HawaiiFund.org that isn't quite up yet, which is kamaaina.org. We also run that website. And kamaaina.org is closely on the heels of HawaiiFund.org, and we are bringing that back in the same way, so that what you do is you authenticate yourself by sending us a front-back copy of your driver's license. We purge that after receiving it, either from your phone with a picture, but you get into the queue, and when we launch that website, we will be sending it out to everybody that we have. You can just go to kamaaina.org and you can register. But we'll have Kamaaina prices, and they will be Kamaaina prices. I'm a little frustrated by the Kamaaina prices we have with our hotel industry. We need to come together, and it doesn't feel like we're all together sometimes.
Yeah, it's such a tough time, and I know that it's a challenge. I mean, we hear it from many different industries, and yet we're also hearing they're having staffing issues, and they're trying to get people back to work, and the counts are low in some cases. And then I've talked to some hotels, and they were great over. Some of the hotels.
What was a great thing with speaking of the HTA conference and speaking of the big guys and all coming together. Southwest Airlines. What did they give? 12 round trips from Maui to the conference? Yeah. I mean, kudos to them.
Yeah. No, I mean, they're doing a great thing.
They are. Yeah. They are. And they're, with Hawaiian merging with Alaska Airlines, I mean, they've become an even larger entity to compete with. So it's going to be harder on them. But it'll be interesting to see how they fare. The community needs to support them for them to be successful, for sure.
Well, Southwest is actually the first airline. Others are coming in, but Southwest was the first airline to join what we call our Ohana Circle Partnership, which is a $10,000 contribution to the chamber as a leadership contribution. And we're grateful. They've been great partners with the Chamber of Commerce. So we're thrilled with the things they're doing, and of course many everybody. I love the commercials on the they now assign seating, right, where people are all excited, and there's the guy who says at the end of the commercial, "Gosh, nobody thought of this before," and the guy sitting next to him goes, "Kind of, well," you know. Like they're all excited, like it's new, and the guy's like, "Well, you know," but I mean, just hysterical. But we're getting a lot of people saying how that that they're thrilled that they're doing that. So a lot of new things going on with them as well. But yeah, it's good to see. It's good to see again people doing the work that is responsive to the needs of their customers and meeting the demands of their customers and being innovative and pushing that envelope too, especially in this time, to look at where we're at and say, okay, we could get stuck in where we're at, and things are, from a government side, have been moving very slow. But from my vantage point, and from your vantage point, and from others that I've talked to, but what can we then do? How are we going to step in and change this dynamic?
It's so simple, though, Pam. I mean, it goes back to Gandhi. Be the change you want to see in the world, right?
Absolutely.
Be conscious, and give good service, and be present. Don't be rushed. Be where you are, see your customer, and be of service. Not that you're below them, you're hosting them. The George Conahele program is just, I mean, it just feels good. And when, the truth just sounds different when you say it. And I just remember a time back in the 80s where we had so much cultural program. Mike White and Kaanapali Beach Hotel and others were bringing over such amazing program and teaching, and it was so prevalent in the community. And then and it was inclusive. It made you feel like part of it, as opposed to being outside of it. Like, my ancestors did something wrong. I shouldn't be here. That's not. That doesn't feel good. I mean, it doesn't.
Well,
I don't.
Yeah. And with the STR issue as well. I mean, people were. I get, and we've done 2 housing forums. We did a forum in 2017. We did a forum in 2019. The Chamber's been fighting for housing long before I joined it, but definitely in the
Speaking of housing, what's the deal with all these tiny houses that are not being used that came over from the wildfires? Do you know? I mean, why are we looking at building when we've got these, like, put these on a property?
Well, it depends on which ones you're talking about. So some are being used.
There's so many.
Are you talking about the ones in Kahului?
Yeah, mostly. There's 2 little batches of them in Kahului. There's one at the church, and then there's ones across the highway. Yeah.
Yeah, there's some. My understanding is there's some infrastructure issues to get water and sewer there.
They're to be in place.
What's it? Well,
I see. I didn't realize they were to be like villages,
but I think they were built across the way for a reason. And there's some infrastructure issues to tie things in, but that's been a while since I've gotten an update on that. But
sorry, I didn't mean to take it sideways. I just
no, that's okay. Yeah, no, it's a good question. Well, and one of the challenges, I will say about that for those from the impacted by the wildfires is when many of those units came up, a lot of that was planned even sort of before the wildfires, is my understanding, but they got a lot more units as well. But a lot of people said, we don't want to be there, right? We don't want to be in that area.
No, I mean, the lots in Lahaina are cleared and ready. They have plumbing, they have electric. Why not take those and put those on those people's plots until they can build? I mean, they're paying, some of them are still paying mortgages on this, I don't know.
I know it was
be the answer and the solution.
I hear you. Well, and we had a lot of people. Seriously, we did a listening session with FEMA, and we had representatives from the county and the state at the meeting. We had home builders who could build amazing, beautiful looking, regular home like looking, but modular homes for 120 to 240K. That could be built temporarily and then removed, because it could even be configured in the in the aftermath of the wildfire for individual families so that you could change the bedrooms, if they needed a 3-bedroom or a 2-bedroom or, 4-bedroom.
Yeah,
you
they're
could
modular.
figure that all out.
Right,
and then
right.
you could move
but
it.
They were trailers. They were on wheels. So they were mobile.
No, they weren't on wheels. The ones we were talking about were built, but movable. And no, in fact, it was when FEMA put mobile into modular that they had to bring in from elsewhere because none of the projects we showed them met the mobile aspect because we don't really do mobile in Hawaii or in Maui. So it was a crazy thing that they put out an RFP and then they used their suppliers that they're used to using. But so a lot of the people we were working with and that they were excited about never got to do it. And the sad part was they were all fire and hurricane rated and spectacular homes that, if you liked the design, you could keep it and move it back to your lot. And if you didn't like the design, it could be reconfigured for others elsewhere and help address our homeless issue or used for other families who maybe wouldn't be able to fully afford the builds that they,
I'm sorry, I've never heard of that. That sounds brilliant. It
was a lovely plan, but it took a broad coalition of people, so it never got off the ground. And it's sad, but I'm still working with some of them. There's still some amazing home builders that have amazing products. Some of them are cement, some of them are just prefabbed panels but all again have been used in disasters elsewhere. But they're not like we also had people who we only had one that we showed as container homes. Those were meant not to be container homes for people to live in, but they look like a house. But it was more to be you could use them for offices, or you could use them for a temporary home as well. They have a bathroom and a kitchen and 2 bedrooms and things like that. And again, those were like $60,000. So there was a whole range of options that went from $60,000 for one offering of container homes to built homes, some in the 120 to 240. If you look at what we paid for FEMA to house people in the condo towns, I mean, that amount of money could have been a whole house or half of the price of a house. And then, of course, there were some things that you could do in the $400,000 range. But, as time has gone by, in that time when we could have built more cost effectively, right now you've got tariffs and you've got whole other issues that we're talking about that are going to raise the cost of building homes out there now. So, again, coming together, right? Unifying the
I knew you'd have the pulse on all of that. I just always ask, I look at those things and I think, this just doesn't feel right. It feels like there's such a huge disconnect here.
Yeah, and
when you drive by them, you drive by them, and I just feel like,
people feel. I get that. Yeah, people are like, why is it just sitting? What's happening? And I have heard some people have been moving in. When we looked at the Lahaina wildfires, we presented options that, knowing there were water and sewer problems, knowing we had big infrastructure challenges to overcome, we had options to do houses as well as putting up water and sewage tanks, right? On-site tanks that could then be pumped, right? Water added or the sewage tanks pumped, so that you could still move forward. There's so many new technologies now that in disasters where you can bring, you don't have the water and sewer connection, you can't go underground, we don't have the way to do that. Well, then bring out the tanks until you do and have them refilled.
Nice.
But we never got there. Yeah. So Toni, we've got a few minutes, so I'd just love for you to tell everybody who's interested in learning more about A3H and, HawaiiFund.org and the Shaka Gold card. Tell them how they can get a hold of you to learn more. And if you're in the activities and attractions business and you're not a member of A3H, you definitely want to call Toni. She's rocking and rolling and doing amazing things.
And it's super easy. Go to the letter A, the number 3, the letter H, which stands for Activities and Attractions Association, 3 A's, of Hawaii. because we're nonprofit. You can go there and just say, join our community, I think is the thing that shows on the homepage there. And you can learn, there is criteria for being a member. Make sure that you are properly, you need to be a properly licensed, insured, permitted for whatever activity you're doing. And you can apply for membership. And membership is very inexpensive. It's $45 a month for a small business, which is under 10 members, $80 a month for in between 10 and 49. And this is employees or workers, contract labor counts as well. And then over that is $100 a month. And there is a 10% discount if you pay annually. And you could be part of this whole launch that we're doing. We'll get you up on the website. And if you're using Fair Harbor or PonaRes, we'll get those links right up. And if you're not using that, what we tell the customer is to just call you directly and just make sure that your staff is aware of the Shako Gold Card if you want to get in on that program. We'd love to have you. The more people that we have, or the more businesses, activities, and attractions that we have in this program when we launch it, the more successful it will be. And the more successful it is, the more it will help you. It's one of those, let us help you help us.
Yeah.
However that goes.
Right.
Yeah. Let us help you. No, help me help you. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
No, you are a treasure and a blessing and always a joy to be around. And I love that, like you said, we're always looking at, okay, what's the reality, but what's the bright side? What can we do? How do we move forward? I think this is just such an amazing thing to do during this time, and very much needed, and just welcoming guests back in the way that they cherish, with the aloha spirit, making them feel, as they're here, that they're cherished and loved and appreciated. And we need to send that message out that, because there's still confusion about whether people are welcome here. And
there is. And I want to say thank you so much. You have always been so supportive. And I cherish you, Pam, as, being
thank you.
The president over there at the chamber. I just couldn't ask for a better person to be, there. And you're just so, you're so akamai about everything that's going on. You've got your fingers in everything. You're just a wealth of knowledge, and you've always got an open door for me, and I so appreciate that. So thank you so much.
Thank you. I cherish you too, and right back at you. You're always whenever we connect with each other and say, "Hey, I need some help," or "Can you give me an update on this?"
Yeah. How are we doing on that latest project, by the way? Opening up Lahaina Harbor. How are we doing?
Oh my. Yeah, Lahaina Harbor, still working on that. Actually, but getting some great data.
Yeah, that table was done, right? I think I shot you an email. So we've got all the old slips and who was in them and their contact information. Yeah.
That's tremendous. Yeah, we're getting ready to start putting some stuff out, and it's going to be good.
Okay, let me know too if you need financial help. I mean, I might be able to squeeze some money out of the A3H board, and we could help hiring that economic analysis person.
That would be awesome. Okay, I'll talk. Okay. I'll reach out and connect with you on that. And I so appreciate you. Thanks for being on the show. I know you rearranged today.
Yeah, thank you so much. You have fun. Have fun at the conference. Okay.
Thank you.
Aloha.
God bless.
Thank
you.
you.
Have a great
Bye-bye.
day. Aloha. So just for everybody wondering what that was about, we're the state is talking about, how do we get the Lahaina Harbor back? And it's taking a little longer than we'd hoped. And what we realized in having a meeting on this is that there hasn't yet been pulled together the economic data to show that the longer it takes for us to get Lahaina Harbor back, the impact not only to the businesses and their employees who work there, but the economic impact not being able to operate out of the Lahaina Harbor is costing our entire community and an economic area that was an engine in that area that generated jobs and revenue, but also just beyond that, all of the suppliers that supplied things for those tour and boat companies, from catering and food to beverages, to services in many different ways, the fuel that they bought locally, and so on. All of the contributions to many businesses across the island, as well as those businesses who operated out of Lahaina Harbor, and trying to understand what is that economic impact that is costing our community in jobs and taxes and benefits, and of course employees. So we're looking at that so that we can better understand and help educate government on why this is so vital that we get this moving forward quicker, and how can we look forward to doing that. It's not just the split money that the state is losing in revenue. It's all this other revenue that hasn't really been calculated yet. So that's what we were talking about, and wanting to not only pull together local data, but have an economist do a report for us so we can better understand the major impact that, and what's happening now with the loss of that activity, and what it looked like before the Lahaina fires, and what that activity did for our community. So again, trying to really understand and do the research on issues to help advocate and educate. And Toni has sent tremendous data for me, so we're really excited about that. But what I'd love to do now is have Ted Anderson join us. Ted, as I mentioned, is a physical therapist, orthopedic clinical specialist, and the owner of Venture Physical Therapy. He's originally from Sacramento, California area. Ted found his passion for healthcare while attending Santa Clara University. He received his doctorate in physical therapy from Marquette University and pursued further training in spinal cord injury at Stanford and the Palo Alto VA before moving to Maui to start his practice and his family. He's not in the clinic. Ted can be found performing stand-up comedy, enjoying the beach, or chasing after his 3 children. When he's not in the clinic, he is in the clinic. When he's not in the clinic, these are the fun things he enjoys doing. And I love that, chasing his 3 children. And he also commented, that he's very committed to our community, serving on the board of Maui Adult Daycare Centers, and providing fall prevention and transfer training courses across the state. I'm just so glad to have you on, Ted. Welcome to the show. How are you this morning?
Good. How are you?
Oh, it's a great day. I'm actually in Honolulu. I usually say it's a great day at Maui Nei, but I'm in Honolulu for the HTA conference, the Hawaii Tourism Authority conference today.
Oh, wow. Big day to be out there.
Yeah. So you have some amazing things going on. We'd love to have you share a little bit about Venture Physical Therapy, and what are some of the companies that you work with and how you're helping them.
So Venture, we've been on island since 2008. We have the most specialties of any practice, I would argue in the state, but definitely in the county of Maui. We have orthopedic certified specialists, neuro certified specialists, wound care specialists, industrial rehab specialists. All of these people are on advanced boards and have gone through advanced training and are some of the best in the country, in the 1% to 3% range for some of their specialties. But lately we've been developing our industrial rehab portion of our company. And we are working with some hotels. We've been working with some construction companies. But the most fun lately has been working with Mahi Pono, as well as EMI and Maui Cattle Company.
Wow.
And so we're all over. We kind of fit into any sort of job, and that's kind of the goal, or that is the goal, is that we're able to step into something that's completely foreign, do job analysis, understand what the risks are, and then be able to start decreasing those risks and recordable incidences, which then in turn decreases workers' compensation cost.
Yeah, you are doing amazing things. And so I know that one of the things you've been working on is this industrial rehab. Tell us a little bit about that, and tell us how that works into what, your overall program.
So how that works is we offer a bunch of different services. They can be put together either a la carte or as a package. And so the basis is usually job duty analysis. So a lot of job duties that people have described for their companies aren't accurate for their work that individual is actually doing, but it's also not accurate in an objective sense. How much are they really lifting on a daily basis? How much are they really moving side to side? What is the function that they do, and how do they do it? So we go in there and we analyze, and that performs a basis because it tells us if they get injured, how we can modify the job, how well they're coming along. And it's not left up to an arbitrary clinician or doctor that has never stepped foot on the job site before. So by getting in there, we are really able to understand what employees are doing and how best to protect them.
I really love that because it's proactive. So now we're taking a really proactive approach, not waiting until somebody gets injured and saying, okay, you need to see the doctor, you need this kind of help now. Now we're saying, okay, what are we going to do to make sure that you don't get injured, which is tremendous.
Right. And then from there, what we like to provide is on-site physical therapy, especially for larger companies. We can do near-site for smaller companies, but for, a company of, say, 200 people, we would be on-site 4 hours a week. And if somebody gets hurt or has any discomfort, we're able to check them out and decide if it needs to be escalated to a recordable incident and they need to go to an MD, or is this something that we can treat in-house? And by doing that, we prevent those incidences from becoming recordable, and it's considered OSHA first aid or discomfort aid. And we can save companies all sorts of money by preventing the time off. They have to wait to go see the doctor. They have to get in. They have to get x-rays. They have to get cleared. By us sidestepping all of that and making a decision at that point of care whether or not somebody really needs those things or not, ends up saving companies a lot in lost time, but as well as charges to their workers' comp claims.
That's amazing. Okay, we've got about a minute left, so I'd love to have you answer one question for me, and I resemble this sometimes. I sometimes haven't gone to physical therapy when I was asked to. So why shouldn't people ignore it when a doctor recommends physical? Okay, well, we're going to have to answer that question, I guess, next week. My apologies. But we will get back to you. But the answer is don't. It's not good for your health, and it can escalate. Yeah, just don't. But we're so glad to have Venture Physical Therapy on today. We have a business after hours coming up with them on Wednesday. If you're interested in joining us for a networking event, go to mauichamber.com, and we will ask them to come back and talk a little bit more about their services. But we're glad that you could join us today. Blessings and aloha. Have a beautiful week. Ahui ho.